Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is our another important chapter, the manager's role in strategic human resource management for the course of human resource management. Before we discuss this chapter, the authors. Let me first tell you that this is the author's slides. Gary Dazzler. This is not my slides. This is the author's slides. So before going and before discussing the manager's role in strategic human resource management, first I would like to explain about what is the strategic human resource management is and what are the basics elements or what are the basics uh, approach or the another thing is that what are the real debate on the strategic human resource management is, which we can easily drawn from the literature or which we can easily see on the literature as well. In the previous lecture, in the previous discussion, we discussed about that what is human resource management is. So we discussed about that there is a people, process, and then the outputs are the outcomes we discussed in human resource management. Then the other important thing is that whatever what linked what makes the importance of the human resource management is the policies and practices, and that policies and practices referring to the managerial process requiring a human resource. So this terms is basically linked, when you linked policies and practices with the strategic objective of the organization. So just as that term human resource management has been contested, so too has the notion of SHRM. Why we call it the strategic HRM or SHRM is basically then when we linked it or when we relate it with some of the strategy, when we relate it to the process or to the outcome. The other important thing when we're talking about a strategic aspect or the strategic human resource management, or what we can say that the manager's role in strategic human resource management is the in the 21st century when we seeing it the role of the human resource. So the role of the human resource management in the 21st century is very much important. Not a single organization can be a successful organization without the proper implementation or without the usage of the human resource management. So your organization run on some of the vision, and that based on that vision your organization linked visions with the specific objectives of the organizations. And that objectives might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or more than the 6, and that specific objectives give you some kind of the goals for which you want to achieve it. First you draw a goals, and then for achieving that goal you draw some specific number of objectives to achieve that goal, and that goal is basically related with the vision of the organization. So these are some of the important points. These are some of the important highlights which is related with the strategic human resource management, or how this is aligned with the uh, human resource and as well as with the manager's role in it. Before going further, first we have to uh, learn about what is the meaning uh, of the, you can say that, of the strategic man, or what is the meaning of the strategy. The term strategy is basically deriving from Greek noun strategos, which means is command in chief, and it is composed of the, that is, which is related with the army and the to lead the things and to lead it from the front. So this is basically the basic meanings of the strategic management is, which is also related with the specific patterns of decisions and actions and a long-term planning as well. So when you're talking about the traditional pools of the strategic management, the strategic planning, strategic plan, so it's start with the senior management and then relate this, that senior management, that senior management is interact with the environment, or you can say that this is basically a triangle between a senior management, environment, and resources. So this is basically a or a tripod of these three words, that the three traditional pools of the strategic planning or the strategic role, you can say that. Why strategic planning is important to all managers? The firm's strategic plan guides much of what is done by all to accomplish organizational goals. Decisions made by managers depend on the goals set at each organizational level in support of higher level goals. This is the number one thing, that why we are going for the strategic planning and why that strategic planning is important for the managers. Number one thing is that here, if you see it, number one thing is that the organizational goals, and before, for the organizational goals, there is a vision of the organization, and for achieving that vision, organization set some numbers of goals to achieve it. And for goals, your organization set some of the objectives. I told you in the previous slide or in the introductory section that the goals might be few, but the objectives are very much in numbers. So for achieving one specific goal, you can draw more objectives, or you can say that you can draw 5 objectives for one specific goal, or more than 5 objectives, you can say that. It's depend on the importance of the goals. It's depend on that how much that goal is important for you. For example, for quality, sorry, for quality, um, you can write down the specific a few numbers of the objectives, and for that quality, that how can you achieve it, how can you grab it, how can you involve that quality in your organization, and so many things. Decisions made by managers depend on the goals set at each organizational level in support of higher level goals. So the decisions by managers depend on the goals set at each level. Next is that this is the simple hierarchical diagram of a company, that president and vice president of sales, vice president of production, and vice president of human resources. That the sales president leads to the sales manager, south region, east region, west region. So these are the some of the specific regions which is related with it. And then the other thing is the vice president of human resources, which is related with the recruiting managers and the training managers. Recruiting managers is identifying and attract 20 good sales people, or 20 sales candidates, and then train up. And these are the different heads. These are the different hierarchical diagram. For every organization, for different kind of the organization, there might be a different hierarchical or organogram for the company. The fundamentals of management planning is, the number one thing is that uh, you set an objective, make a forecast, and check assumptions, and then determine, develop alternative courses of action, evaluate the alternatives, implement and evaluate your plan. Before discussing this planning process and before discussing or I explain that objective, I would like to share with you the model of the strategic management is. What is the model of the strategic management is? Strategic management starts with mission and goals, environmental analysis, strategic formulation. Fourth is strategy implementation. And fifth is strategy evaluation. Mission and goals are important for the organization. Then organization is going for the environmental analysis, that how they can evaluate their organizational needs, how can they evaluate the overall environmental factors, and then goes on for the sort of the goals or sort of the objectives. Environmental analysis. In environmental analysis, the organization can understand about the SWOT analysis, organization can understand about the competitors, organization can understand about the others, government facilities, government practices, government regulations. These are all the kind of things that comes in the environmental analysis. And also you can evaluate the political system, then you can evaluate the social system, then you can as well as evaluate the technological facilities available in that country. So these are all the things that can comes in the environmental analysis. Then strategic formulation, and then if you formulate the strategy, then you implement that strategy, and then as well as in the last stage you can evaluate it. So these are all the some of the major things that before going to the planning process you have to understand about what is basic the model of the strategic management. So if you going on a stepwise, so the step number one is missions and goals. Step number two is environmental analysis. Step number three is strategic formulation. Step number four is strategic implementation, and step number five is strategic evaluation. So these are some of the stages or some of the steps which is relate with the strategic management, or you can say that strategic model. Now come up on this slide the planning process. Set an objective. Your organization has some of the objectives. An objective, before setting an objective, you have to set down the goals, or you can say that you have a very clear vision for the company, for the organization, and then you set down and some objectives. Make forecast and check assumptions, that how much that objectives can be achievable, how much that things, how much that work, or how can you work for that particular objectives. In this forecasting, that you can forecast and make an assumptions, then develop uh, determine and develop alternative courses of actions, evaluate the alternatives, then implement and evaluate your plan. So these are all the your planning process that you can go through it, and then you can understand it about this. This is the business model. This is the business plan table of contents, executive summary, mission and vision statements, company products and services, market and competitive analysis, business strategy and marketing plan, production plan, organization and management summary, financial plan. So these are all things you can go through it. And if you need any help, if you need to ask, if you want to discuss these things, so I can discuss with you some of the major points I can share with you, and some of the major or important points here is highlighted is that market and competitive analysis, overall market and target market, market needs, market size and trends, historical and projected market growth, SWOT analysis. These are all very important things when you are assessing and when you are talking about a business plan. So you need to assess your market. You need to find out what is basically the need of the target market, what is basically the need of the customers, what is basically the need of the your target area. For that, you can go through it with any kind of the data analysis, you can go through it with any kind of the analysis. In that, you can through it, we can say that environmental scanning. We can say that you can assess, you can find out the strength of your own company, you can find out the weaknesses of the company, you can find out all that things is comes in the SWOT analysis, obviously. But these are the things that can link it with your own business plan, this which can link it with your own analysis. These are all comes in your market and competitive analysis. Then you can say that major industry participants, then you can also see the economic, competitive, and other trends in the market. So these are all the things that can related with the competitive analysis. Then you can draw some business strategy and marketing plan, value proposition, why buy from us. This is one of the important point. This is the value proposition is very important. Nowadays, in the 21st century, your customers is very much aware from everything. Now, this is not a time, this is not the era that your customers is not aware about products. You cannot say that your customers does not know about anything related with this sector, related with this product, related with this kind of the community, related with the business environment, so many things. So what when you are making the product, or when you are designing a product, first discuss about it, or first clear yourself and as well as your employees that why we are making this product, what is importance for the consumers, our customers, our potential customers, why they can buy your product, why not any other's product. So when you're talking about is a very generic, or what we all everyone is talking about this cell phone, that when we're talking about iPhone, so why people are purchasing it on the price of 2 lakhs, on the price of 3 lakhs? The basic thing is that they added a value in that product. So that's why people is purchasing it. And whenever you're talking about Nike, when you're talking about the Nike products, so why people is purchasing Nike products or Nike, why they like it, the Nike brand? The thing is that major thing is that the brand add value in it. That's why people buy it. And that's why people is willing to buy it at a higher price. So this is a major thing that we can, why the people can buy from you, why not from the other things. This is a very important thing, that you can add value to your products, that you can add value to your basics items. So through this, you can say that this might be your strategy, this might be your marketing plan as well as. So these are very important points when you highlighting the whole business plan, when you're talking about then the pricing strategy, then the advertising, then the distribution, marketing, sales. These are all very important things. Nowadays the distribution is very much important, very much important. Nowadays that advertising and promotion alone cannot do best for the organization. The best thing is that is your distribution network, that how you distribute your product. Are a distributor is willing to take your products, or how your uh, distributor or as a chain and a network chain that through which you can spread your products in the territory, in when you're talking about a territorial development. So how you can spread it, if the distributor is not willing to distribute your product, they cannot give you a shelf, they cannot give you a particular place where you can place your products, warehouses or some other things. So you cannot distribute it in a large territorial area. you can distribute in one of the specific region, but you cannot distribute into the rest of the country or to the rest of the world without the distribution network or without a proper strong distribution strategy. Retailer, and another important thing is a retailer. If you retail, if the retailer is not willing to sell your product, they cannot give you an important place in the market or in their own shop, in a retailer shop, so then you can again not sell it. Then you can then again your product will not give a value from the customers. So these are all things. These are the very important thing, is these are some of the important things. The other discussion is, this is not a marketing class, it's obviously HRM class, so we cannot discuss it in more detail. There are so many other factors related with the distribution strategy. There are so many other factors related with the territorial development and a territory, and some others plans and the region wise plans, and so many things. There are so many things that we can discuss it, but here this we be stuck with the human resource as well as then the financial plan, and then the organization and the management summary and all that stuff. If you go through it, if you need to highlight or if you want to discuss it, so we can discuss it. So this is some of the profit and loss tables, not need to discuss it. This is another important thing, is that is the smart goals. So smart goal is basically, as explain it to you through this slide, is that S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for attainable, R stands for relevant, and T stands for timely. The smart, the objectives or the goals is basically related with that. The goal settings is related with the organizational psychology, you can say that. And I come up with the different things and with the different peoples. So that specific means that simple, sensible, significant. And the second thing is a measurable. By measurable, we means that meaningful and motivating. And third thing is achievable or attainable, is that agreed and we can achieve it. And then the fourth thing is the relevant. By relevant, we mean reasonable, realistic, and resource result based goals, you can say that. And the T is the timely. So obviously it's about time. Obviously it's about time bound, time based, time limited. You can say that time or cost limited, or time sensitive activities. So these are all the things that can relate it with the time or timely or time bound, you can say that. Another thing is, when you're talking about specific here, when you're talking about specific, so what do I want to accomplish? This is the first question that you can understand, that is related with the specific. Why this goal is important? Who is involved? Where it is located? Which resources or limits are involved? So these are all the things which is related with the specific. For example, imagine you are currently a marketing executive and you would like to become head of marketing. So a specific goal could be, in that case, is that you want to gain the skills and experience necessary to become the head of marketing within the organization, so that you can build your career and lead a successful team. So this is a very specific goal. This is a very specific thing that you can accomplish. That goal is important. But why you are going for a very specific necessary skills and experience related to the marketing? Because you are in the area of a marketing. So your goal is very much important. Who is involved? You is involved, and I is involved, or whatever the specific individuals are involved. Where it is located, this is very important. So, or what resources are the linked with it. Another thing is the measurable, that it's important to have measurable goals so that you can track your progress and stay motivated. Assessing progress helps to stay focused. Assessing progress helps to meet your deadlines. Feel the excitement of getting closer to achieving your goal. A measurable goal should address questions such as how much, how many, how will I know when it is accomplished. So these are the things which is related with measurable. For instance, or for example, you might measure your goal of acquiring the skills to become head of marketing by determining that you will have completed the necessary training courses and gained the relevant experience within 5 years. So this is now a measurable thing which is related with your goal. Third thing is attainable, or another term you can say that achievable. Both words um, are identical. Your goal also needs to be realistic and attainable to be successful. In other words, it should stretch your abilities but still remain possible. And the other thing is that the how you overlooked with the opportunities, the resources that can bring you to closer to it. Here you can answer the question that how can I accomplish this goal. In the first part, you related that what I want to accomplish, what do I want to accomplish. And now here in the attainable or in the achievable, you can ask question that how can I accomplish this goal. For this is basically achievable or attainable, that how can you attain that specific goal. Second thing is that how realistic is goal based on other constraints such as financial factors. So for attainable, you have a very financial backup or financial support for it. Here the example is that you might need to ask yourself whether developing the skills required to become head of marketing is realistic based on your existing experience and qualification that matters to you, that is important for you, that is the necessary related with the resources available to you, you can afford to do it. These are all the questions, these are all the things which is related with the attainable or achievable. Fourth thing is the relevant. Relevant is the how much you can ensure it that your goal matters to you, that aligns with the others relevant goals. All that we need is to support and assist in achieving our goals. These are all the important points that is linked with the relevant. Here we can answer it, does this seems worthwhile, this goal is worthwhile. Obviously, is this the right time to focus on this goal? Does this match our other efforts and needs? Am I the right person to reach this goal? So these are the relevant related questions that a persons or individuals can ask for this element. Um, for example, you can say that if you want to start a family, would completing training in your free time makes this more difficult? Or are you sure that you are the right person for the head of marketing role? So these are very important thing that is related with the relevant. Timely and time bound is very important thing, that every goal needs a target date, obviously, so that you have a deadline to focus on and something to work toward. The time bound is related with the questions or answers that when will we do it. You can do it with 6 months from now, you can do it from 6 months now onward, or how can I do it today, or how can I manage it, or how much time is required for this activity. So these are all the questions that is related with the time bound. This is obviously related with the activities. So a smart goal is an effective tool that provides you a clarity, focus and motivation you need to achieve your goals. It can also improve your ability to reach them by encouraging you, and as well as to achieve the objectives, completion, date, without the need of specific tools or training, but you can focus on these things. So this is a very important thing that is related with the smart goals, or the other set things which is related with managers need to focus on. How to set motivational goals. Sorry, this is a very important thing. Motivational goals is very much important. Motivational goal setting is that assign specific goals, assign measurable goals, assign challenging but doable goals that you can achieve it, encourage employee participation. So, as we all know that motivation is very important. Without a motivation, your organization cannot go further. Or without a motivation, your organization cannot go or take a one single step ahead. Motivation is obviously comes from the word is motives, your desires, that you, how can you achieve it, how can you focus it, how much you are determined to do it. So you focus on that specific goals. You can that specific goals is measurable goals, challenging goals, and that involve the encouraged participation. This is very important. Employee participation is very obvious. So these are all the things which is related to the motivation goal setting. I will not go to it in a detail, that it's a very simple thing that you all of you know. Encourage employee participation. Employee participation is very important. If your employee is not participating in anything, or if your employee is not the part of the decision making, or you not involve him in the kind of the decision making things, so your employee will be ultimately demotivated and cannot give you a feedback as well. Then another thing is the management by objectives. Management by objective is very important. So management by objective is, as you seeing on the screen, is the MBO process is set overall organizational goals, set departmental supporting goals, discuss departmental goals with subordinates, set individuals goals and timetables. Thomas was the first person who discussed about the management by objectives, that what is the importance of the management by objective is. The most important thing is that manager has in setting and achieving a forward looking goals in people. Goal is that we can share with the people, those people obvious who are working in the organization. And the other thing is that to achieve that results with the manager roles are with the manager's direction, and can be able to instill in the worker a sense of vital commitment and desire to contribute the things for the organizational goal accomplishment. Then the another thing is the set departmental goals, that are specific supporting goals which is required for the organization, or which is required for the organizational benefits. Then discuss that departmental goals with the subordinates. Then set individuals goals and timetables, so all of the individuals are in the process, or all of the individuals are in a greater commitment and desire to contribute from the subordinates role, from the subordinates support, which can also give the better control and coordinations toward the goal accomplishment, which can also give you a gain an increased ability to help coordinates. So these things which is relate with the MBO process, which is relate with the MBO elements. Then give feedback on progress towards goal. This is also obvious. The management process I already explained to you. What is the strategy or course of action the organization intends to pursue to achieve its strategic aims. Strategic plan is how an organization intends to match its internal strengths and weaknesses with its external opportunity and threats to maintain a competitive advantage over the long run. Strategic management is the process of identifying and executing the organization's mission by matching its capabilities with the demands of its environment. So this is the basic management process already explained to you. Leveraging is capitalizing on a firm's unique competitive strength while underplaying its weaknesses. Business vision and mission. Vision is a general statement of an organization intended direction that evokes emotional feelings in organization members. Mission is spells out who the firm is, what it does, and where it's headed. So for this time, this is the half part of this chapter, and I will explain you the other part in the others in my other video. So for this, I conclude my this part of my this chapter lecture, and I will also share you the another part for this remaining slides and for this remaining part of the chapter. Thank you very much.